What's up, traders? Not myself today. Let's get to it. All right, traders, don't forget to hit that like button. It'll help, I guess, make me feel better about today. Just doubting myself today. Did not sleep very well. Went to sleep around like 3:30. I watched the Ravens game last night. I think I was just so pumped from watching that game in general. It was an amazing game that I just couldn't get tired, couldn't fall asleep. Ended up going down the YouTube wormhole, rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it. And I just, before I know it, it was 3:30, and I was like, holy crap, I need to go to bed. So woke up this morning really tired. Didn't necessarily feel like I was too tired to trade, but definitely something happened today that I don't know. I couldn't control my emotions the way that I thought I could. And so as you can see on all of our winners, they were super small. And then as I started realizing what we were doing with our sizing, it was when IPV happened. And then IPV, as you can see, was a max loss, and we'll get to that here in a second. But that was a little unfortunate. But starting with our first trade, we had HIMX, and this one was pretty normal. We got a pullback all the way to VWAP, and look at what our winner ended up being $3. So on what we normally are looking to make 10 on half of a move, which was basically about that. It was just a slower move back down towards that VWAP area. We made less than half. So obviously the sizing wasn't there. I think maybe subconsciously I realized that I wasn't 100% here, and that could have played a part in it. SLDB was the next trade. We started this one early, but we used smaller size again, so it gave us some room. We actually tried to get an ad over 650, and we couldn't get it. We couldn't get the fill on the way back down because of SSR. SSR was kind of a bummer on this one, and we ended up taking a small loss on this one because as it came down, our average was sitting at 613. And we got under VWAP down to 6, and I wanted to see if this thing could actually use VWAP and reject it, and then get back under 6 and make this move here. And this would have been actually ended up being a nice trade. Unfortunately, it curled back up, got above VWAP, and started to go up. So we ended up taking a small loss there. And as you can see on this one later in the day, since we have it up, I ended up following someone else into a trade today. That just goes to show you where I am, and I was also long and also playing what looks to be a breakout. I mean, granted, this isn't a bad setup. You see these work all the time. Keeps making higher lows, gets to that curl spot where if it gets through, it's probably going to squeeze up the high of day, and it tried. And once I realized it failed, I just jumped out. So not a typical play you would see me make, and so it just kind of gives you an idea of where my head was today. So the next trade that we had taken was actually, I think we ended up in 3 trades at the same time here. MVIS being the first one. We were looking for this to go a little bit higher to get an ad, did not, but still got a decent pullback all the way to VWAP. And look at what our overall take profit was, 360. So just was not sizing correctly at all throughout any of this. We got into OSCK pretty much at the same time. This one pulled back. We actually had a take profit order for our 10 ball on this one because I believe on MVIS is when I realized that we're just not really taking proper size. We're not really making anything off of our winners, and it needed to get to 59.18, and the bid actually came down while I was watching this to like 59.20, but the ask never came down. As you can see, it never actually printed below 59.34. And then I took my eyes off of it for a second. Next thing I knew, we were at high of day again. And it started to come back down. Felt like it was finding support again. Started to make a higher low. And so we just took it off. That was a pretty small win as well. But this one was an okay small win, right? Like, look, we almost made the same amount as all the other trades, and we missed the overall move here. What was the next one? We were in one more at the same time. Maybe it was IPV. Maybe that's when we started IPV. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was because it looks around the same time. So what happened on IPV? Scroll in a little bit. We started this thing early. It went up to 1450. It actually went through 1450 and started to come back down through 1450, and we got an ad. And the old me, would have said, okay, we're just going to risk that high of day right there at 1450. And granted, we used proper size on this one, right? So we were looking, let's say we were looking for half the move here, 1388. So we took sizing where if we would have got half the move, it would have given us our 10 ball that we look for. So when the ad came up, this obviously came up with it. It was, I want to say it was at 14.11. Yeah, I think that's about right. It was, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 14.11. And then all of a sudden it just ripped. It went right back through 14.50. I looked over at the P&L. I usually don't look at my P&L, but I was just like, I wonder where I'm at in the trade because I adjusted my sizing to get back on track to where I should be. And I realized when we went through 14.50, I was like, oh, wow, we're actually a little close to our max loss, where the broker would stop us out regardless, which is set at 40. And literally, it was at 79. And we got stopped out at 79, and the high of day was 80. So needless to say, I was pretty frustrated. I watched it go through the process of it stopping me out by itself. And yeah, I was not too happy, especially when I saw it reject. I actually jumped back in, just loaded up 50 shares and jumped back in, and went through all of this and saw a nice descending triangle here. So we added some shares looking for this to break down through VWAP and hopefully get down and test 14, and that's where I was going to look to take profit. But as you can see, it did break there. We were actually up pretty nice. We actually could have made back half of our loss on this, and then it just shot right back up. I mean, literally, as you can see, this was like the bottom of the candle, and as you can see, it started to wick back up instantly, and it shot right back up to the highs here, and then just never really came back down. And so we actually ended up taking a small loss on this after all of that. So as you can see, it did eventually work out, but there's no way to know that it's going to stop at 14.50 and do what it did versus going through 14.50 and back to high of day. Kind of like if you take a look at SLDB, you know, that's kind of what that did, right? It went up, failed, and then came back up and actually went to high of day. Like, you don't know what it's going to do after that initial move. Either it works or it doesn't. And then we were about to close out for the day, and FTech literally at 10:59 came up. If you look at the candle, it was the candle right before 11 o'clock. So let me click on it. There we go. 10:58. It was like 10:59 and 24 seconds is when we actually entered FTech. It ran up. We were looking to add at 450, but felt the obvious jiggle there at 445. Added for the way back down. We had to take profit at 408 down here, just looking for a nice quick flush down. Couldn't quite get it. Felt like it was finding support here. And yeah, so we ended up taking it off, and then it did flush, but only got down to 413, but ultimately did end up getting down there towards 4 at 405. So, but again, we went back to small size there because, you know, it was real close to our end goal or end time, which is whatever. And also, just after FOMOing into trades, hitting max loss on trades, like I just, you know, at that point I was not feeling it, but, you know, I saw my setup and decided to take it just to kind of see what happens. And yeah, so pretty rough day, a little annoyed at myself overall, but, you know, we'll move on. The overall P&L, we're still green before commissions. And we're going to keep trading this way until the end of December. But I think tomorrow, primarily tonight, I'm going to focus on getting to bed on time so we can wake up fresh tomorrow. And I'm going to focus on getting and keeping the correct sizing throughout the day, because what we were doing was working. And slowly over the course of these last 2 weeks, I've slowly changed what I was doing from sizing looking for half the move to sizing based on the full move. So say I was taking 50 shares here on my initial entry, I was now taking 25 because I was basically saying, okay, the move was from 406 to 430. So if I'm looking for half the move, that would be 15 cents. But I was putting it in as in I was looking for the 28.30 cents. And so that's why my sizing and my take profits when they are winners have been smaller, because I'm not trading them with the same size that I was before. I don't know why I started doing that. It just kind of happened, and today I just realized it. I guess over trading as well helped me realize it, because I can just look at my P&L and realize what happened. So minus OSTK and IPV, those were the only two that I used the correct size, and unfortunately those are the two that didn't want to work out for us. IPV, that was a little unfortunate, because if we would have used the smaller size, it would have worked out just fine. But Anyways, lots to talk about at the end of the month as far as how the strategy is going overall, but I still don't think it's not profitable. So we're gonna keep at it. No reason to question it just yet. We're gonna get back to the way that we were trading and see what happens from there. And that's all I got. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.